All right, y'all. So, in the past few weeks, the NBA world has been paying a lot of attention to the Houston Rockets. We've talked about them a few times, even on this channel. And the Rockets at one point were literally the hottest team in basketball a few weeks ago. Like, they had won 10 straight games. They were doing great. They were, I think, one game or half a game behind the Warriors at one point. But now, with about 7 games left in the season, and the Warriors beating the Mavs last night in what was a very good game, where it was a very good, a very interesting game, but this isn't about that. This video is not about that. I'm very confident that their season's over, and this video isn't meant to be like a negative video or like a video bashing the Rockets or their fans or anything like that, because I personally am a big fan of what the Rockets did this year. I'm a big fan of a lot of the Rockets players. I'm a big fan of Ime Udoka as a coach. I'm a big fan of a lot of the things the Rockets have done, right? So this isn't supposed to be a negative video. In fact, while the video's title may be a little more negative, I actually want the message to be a little more positive, especially for Rockets fans, right? So I believe the Rockets have a top 3 future in basketball, right? Behind probably only the Thunder and maybe the Spurs, just because they don't have that Victor Wembanyama. That's the only reason I might put the Spurs above them. And there are a lot of good things that happen for the Rockets this year, right? Especially towards the end of the year. But I genuinely do believe now that their season's over. They went on their best run of the season while their best player was out, right? While Alperen Sengun was out with an ankle injury that looked very bad, but apparently isn't as bad as we thought it might have been at first. They said nothing's broken, which is good, but we've known that for weeks. But like, they went on the best run of their season without their best player, which is a good sign, because that means, okay, when he's back, you expect the run to be even better. They saw a lot of great development from Amin Thompson, from Jalen Green, and even if maybe this run told them that maybe Alperen Sengun is a guy that, like, if they needed to in the future, they could trade him. But I'm not going that far right now. I'm just because they had one good 2-3 week stretch. I'm not saying that because Alperen Sengun is their best player. But I'm just saying there was a lot of positive signs during this run, during the last month or so of the season, right? And I'm really glad. First of all, for me as a Rockets, as just a basketball fan, because like in the beginning of the year, people were like, "Hold on, the Rockets aren't just a free win anymore." Like, we started to see that the Rockets were actually solid, and then they died down towards like the middle of the season, during like the dog days of the season and everything like that. But in the last month, bro, it has been great for the Rockets and everything like that, and I love that. And I think these are all reasons that Rockets fans should be very happy this season, right? But with where things currently sit, the Rockets are 3 full games behind the Warriors for the 10 seed in the West. And with so few games left, I think the Warriors have exactly 7 games left. I don't even think the Rockets have that many. The Rockets might have like 6, I'm not sure. But I don't believe it's possible for the Rockets to make any noise in the West anymore. And if they had been a game and a half, 2 games behind, I'd believe in them. I'd still think they have a chance, because the Rockets, they play Golden State, right? So that's a game. If they win that, you never know. And the Warriors, they play the Mavs again, but this time it's in Dallas, I'm pretty sure. So like, they play them again. So it's, if they had been a little closer, I wouldn't be making this video at all. I still would think there's a very good chance. But with 3 full games behind and only 7 games left, I do think it's safe to say that their season is behind. And I did predict that the Rockets wouldn't be able to catch up to the Warriors in the stands. I did say that. I said I didn't see it happening while it was possible and while it was interesting. I didn't see it happening. And I love being right. Not going to hold you. I love being right. You know what I'm saying? Thank God that I was right about that, or it seems that I'm right about that. Like, who knows? Within the next 2 weeks, this video could age like milk. So, you know what I'm saying? So, who knows? But right now, it's looking like I'm right. But it was really so fun to watch this Rockets team during that run. It was so fun to think about, well, what if they beat the Warriors? Like, what does that mean for the NBA? Like, what's that going to look like for the NBA? And you're just kind of sitting there. You're like, could they do it, right? And like, what would this really mean? And I never thought it would happen, but it was fun to think about. It was definitely fun to watch them. Like, to watch Jalen Green become this different level of guy. And while his efficiency wasn't really great over the whole run, it was definitely very good. Like, there was at one point when I made a video, I think he was at like 53-42 splits with like, I think it was like 77% from free throw, which you want better, but it was like 53-42 splits or something like that, which is great splits. And that was like, I think that was when their win streak had hit like 7 or 8 or something like that. So he was very efficient for the most part during that win streak. And while he hasn't been recently, he's still been their best player. He's still been putting up points without Prince Sengun out. So I think these are all great signs. And I'm very interested to see that production that we have been seeing from Jalen Green over the last few weeks. I'm very interested to see, can that be something that's replicated over a full season? Because like, his career, he's averaged 19. This season before this streak, he was averaging 19, right? So he's been a very consistent 19 guy, but he hasn't been a very efficient guy, right? And that's just kind of who he is. Like, he's one of those guys, he's going to chuck up some shots, and sometimes when he's hitting them, though, it's like there's nothing you can do. Like, when he's hitting those shots, it's like Michael Porter Jr., bro. He ain't swinging that rock, he's hitting it, and if it goes in, you can't even contest it, right? And Jalen Green's a freak athlete. He can get to the basket. He can do a lot of things. He's a very talented scorer. I've been saying this about him since that draft with him and Cade. I was like, bro, he's one of those guys that's just a naturally gifted scorer, which is why I didn't think anyone should have passed on him at 1. And right now it's really interesting because you never really know. Like, the Pistons are terrible, so it's hard to say with Cade or without Cade what Cade really is. And, like, I don't want to overreact to this Jalen Green run and say, well, oh, that makes him better than Cade. That means he should have been picked 1. Like, no, it's been a month. Like, it's not. Like I said, if this could be replicated over an entire season, and if the efficiency numbers can get better, then we're gonna start having some real conversations. But I love Amen Thompson. I love the Cam Whitmore pick. I love that he fell so late in the draft last year from the Rockets. I loved that pick. I was really excited for those picks. I think Amen Thompson's been great during this run. Cam Whitmore's been out for, I think, most, if not all of it. I haven't been watching a lot of Rockets basketball the last few days, but I know he was out for a long time. So I'm really excited to see how those two guys will both develop. I think Amen Thompson especially has shown a lot of great rookie signs, a lot of great signs his rookie year. I think his brother has too in Detroit, so I don't think I'm disrespecting. I think they both had actually great, really, really similar rookie years. I think one's just on a better team with more exciting highlights and stuff like that, especially recently because we know what the Pistons are. I'm a big fan of Alperen Sengun, like I said, and I like the role that Jabari Smith-Jr.'s found himself in. He's not what I thought he was going to be. I thought really in the draft it was going to be like him, Paolo, we're going to be those two guys fighting for it. We're going to be coming out of the draft, I thought those were going to be the two guys that we were going to look back and say, oh, those are the two best players in the class. And Paolo is definitely, you know what I'm saying, like, he was definitely deserving of that number 1 overall pick, but Jabari Smith Jr. hasn't looked like that number 3 guy quite yet, but he's definitely in a good role. And I love how this Rockets team added key vets for this year. They helped the young guys progress. The additions of Fred VanVleet, of is it Jeff or Javonte? I think it's Jeff. And they were talking about how bro's got a clean lineup, but he's bald, which is crazy. But anyway, I'm pretty sure it's Jeff Green. It's definitely Jeff Green. But the additions of guys like him, Dylan Brooks, Fred VanVleet, a coach that's experienced like Ime Udoka. I loved all these additions. I think they were actually really good moves. And while I do think the Rockets overpaid for VanVleet and Brooks, I really think those actually were moves that paid off, at least for this season. When you look at how their young guys have developed, I do believe that VanVleet and Dylan Brooks were instrumental in that, and I don't believe this team gets as many wins without those guys. This would be a much worse team without that veteran leadership, without that veteran production. And like we looked at a few days ago, VanVleet hit like 9 or something threes the other day. Like, you know what I'm saying? So these guys have been producing at the same time. So I believe these were actually good moves, and while I do still believe they overpaid, it's not changing that opinion at all, but I understand now why they did it. And I know when it's free agency, the same way with the NFL, you're always going to have to overpay if you're getting a guy to leave a situation that he's been comfortable with for a long time, like you did with Fred VanVleet in Toronto. So I know you had to overpay a little bit, but at the time I was like, is that really a guy that I'm going to overpay for? And that's me as a Raptors fan. I was saying that. I was like, I don't know if that's a guy that I'm really going to overpay for. But it worked out for them, and I think it's done great things for them, and we'll see, you know what I'm saying, what that looks like in the future. Like I said, I do believe if the Rockets want to contend in the next few years, they're going to have to trade one of these key pieces. For me, the first thing that comes to mind is Alperen Sengun, because I think he's probably more valuable, but I don't know. I just don't know if he's that guy you want to build a championship team around. Now, if you want him as a number 2, I like that, but it's like I feel like Jalen Green's a more natural number 2, and I feel like the package you could get for Alperen Sengun would make more sense to get an actual 1A than it would because I feel like if you gave up Alperen Sengun to get a 1A, you'd have to give up a lot less than if you gave up Jalen Green. Like I said, I believe y'all would have to give up a lot less with Sengun to get a 1A than with Jalen Green. That's just me, though. So like I said, I think they'll have to trade one of these key pieces, but right now I'm really excited for this team. I think that they're a very exciting, very promising young team with a lot of good young pieces led by a good coach. It seems like their organization's being ran really well at the moment. And while their season's over for this year, I think Rockets fans should actually be very excited, should be very happy with the way this season turned out. I don't think it could have really gone too much better except for you maybe making the play-in, but with the West so loaded, that's a lot to ask for a team that is this young and that is this new and that has so many new pieces coming in this year, so I'm not asking for that at all. But, yeah, I'd love to hear what y'all think about this. Please let me know in the comments, DM me on Twitter, whatever y'all want to do. You know what I'm saying? Just let me know how y'all feel about this, and I appreciate you for watching. I would like to just ask that y'all would like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel out a lot. It helps me out a lot. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank you for watching. Stay blessed. Stay praying. Love y'all.